Ancient Inheritance Season 3 is coming up in just a couple of days, so I'm putting out this guide to help people not be terrible at it. There's a lot of information to cover, so I'm going to try to break this down into sections. First section will be about what's new in Season 3, and the next will be on how to prepare for Ancient Inheritance, and the last section will be on what guild leaders can do to organize and try to get a better completion rate. Most all of the changes have to do with the maps. One really nice change is they've added a zoom in and zoom out feature on the maps. This is a godsend for people like me who are trying to make maps for the guild, but it will also help being able to navigate, figure out which way to go, and what is going to be the best pathing for you to take to get to your goals. Also, when you click on these notes, it will bring up a large view of the note, and this screen is not impacted by the zoom level. The last quality of life change is this rank board button on the main screen will display a notification light when there are rewards to collect. Other than some minor tweaking to the difficulty level of certain bosses, no real changes have been made to Ancient Inheritance. Now, the map will change. The map always changes. As we move through Ancient Inheritance, I'll try to continually update the maps on my videos. So next we can talk about what you can do as a player to prepare for Ancient Inheritance to get the best head start into the event. For those of you who are new to Ancient Inheritance, one thing you should know is that it contains a unique mechanic. All units that are taken into Ancient Inheritance are maxed out. Regardless of level or investment, you take a unit into Ancient Inheritance and it's level 60, it's max awakened, it's fully molded, and if it's got a specialty change skill tree, that skill tree is also maxed out. So this level 50 warrior right here is actually level 60, is 6-star awakened, and is plus 15 mola. Now you think your gear is not good enough for Ancient Inheritance? You would be wrong. Gear has almost no impact on your stats. In fact, as best I can tell, it has about a 10-to-1 ratio when it comes to how the stats impact your unit. So this plus 10% attack substat is only giving me plus 1%. This nice 70% crit damage neck, well, my unit's only seeing 7% of that crit damage. So you don't really need to worry about your gear quality. What you do need to worry about is your gear set. Set bonuses still carry over in full force. So you want to focus on gearing units with gear that gives good set bonuses. Now these are the sets I recommend the most. Attack set has no ceiling, so it's a great one to put on there, as is speed set. Rage and pen set are fantastic in Ancient Inheritance. Now, HP and defense sets aren't really that useful. I'll explain why later when I talk about why bruisers don't do very well in Ancient Inheritance. The stat bonuses still count, but you're really going to want to be focused on damage. Immunity has almost no viable purpose. You can't use injury in PvE. Effectiveness, you won't need it, trust me. Lifesteal, I'm not selecting because in almost every fight, healing from damage is severely reduced. You'll find that artifacts like Bloodstone and Sigurd's Scythe have a minimal impact, and lifesteal doesn't help you out nearly as much as you'd think it would. So, where your stats come from is class enhancements. Inside of Ancient Inheritance, there's an entire class enhancement tree. As you progress through Ancient Inheritance, you'll earn class enhancement ingredients or points that you can assign into the tree. You'll also find other ways to artificially boost your class levels, such as statues that give bonuses, as well as relics. I strongly recommend you focus on just 3, maybe 4 classes tops. I typically go with warriors. In my opinion, warriors are the most diverse and versatile class that can be used in Ancient Inheritance. Mages and thieves are also really good. Rangers are actually surprisingly not good, but the whole reason I focused on Rangers was because of Assaria. Assaria's kit brings a unique capability to your teams and enables some shenanigans that just no other unit can enable. If you don't have Assaria, I would recommend you pick Thieves or Mages as your secondary class. You will want to put some points into Soul Weavers, at least get it up to 8 or 9 by the end. You will need some Soul Weavers to keep you alive. I strongly recommend avoiding the Knight class. Knights do almost nothing for you. The idea in Ancient Inheritance is to roll in and do as much damage as you can. None of the fights are long. In fact, most of the bosses have some kind of mechanic where their damage scales over time and hits harder and harder, or they have a wipe mechanic like at the end of Expeditions where at a certain number of turns it just kills your whole team no matter what. You aren't going to be able to bruiser and healer down and go for the long fights in this. If you try to take that route in Ancient Inheritance, you're going to be disappointed with how little you contribute to the team. So I will probably be focusing on warriors in my videos. If you're wanting to follow along with my team comps, you may want to stick with that, but mages and thieves bring an incredibly diverse kit. Which class you pick as your primary and secondary classes really should boil down to what kind of a unit pool you have and what units you like to use. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is building a skill tree like this. You do not want to be a jack of all trades, master of none, specialize in specific classes and completely ignore the other ones. If you don't have your class enhancements at least to plus 9 or 10 by the time you reach floor 4, you're going to contribute almost nothing to the fights. Now, to illustrate just how important class enhancements are and how little gear matters, the Assyria on the left is at a level 2 class enhancement and the Assyria on the right is at a level 10 class enhancement. Exact same gear, exact same artifacts. You can see a pretty significant difference in her capabilities. Now let's talk preparation. You're in a very unique position right now in that we're in the middle of a free unequip event. I strongly recommend you use this time period to start gearing units that you wouldn't think you would normally use. I rely heavily on warriors for Ancient Inheritance, so I geared all of my warriors. I put whatever trash gear I could find. I tried to preserve sets and built as many as I could for the fight. Take a look at units' kits and you'll be surprised what you can find. Units that you wouldn't expect to work anywhere else, like Khawazu here. He's got a fabulous kit for Ancient Inheritance. He's got a bunch of debuffs, including a defense break. Defense break is huge in Ancient Inheritance. He self-cleanses himself and gives himself an attack buff, and his S1 has a defense break. He's like the total package for this fight. I'll try to put a more comprehensive list of units I would recommend gearing in the description of this video. Maybe help you along a little bit. Don't fret it too much, but again, try to preserve sets. You see I put speed set and a crit chance set on them to help him out, and don't worry about gear. That 34% effect resistance is going to give him 3.4% effect resistance. Stats don't matter, sets matter. Now that you've prepared your unit pool, one of the most important things in Ancient Inheritance is when you first start, you get a free relic. And you get a chance to pick, and there's a chance to refresh the list to get a fresh batch to pick a second time, so you can usually get the relic you're looking for. There's no way to change this, and some of them are great, and some of them are pretty mediocre. As long as they remain unchanged with their bonuses in Season 3, these are the 3 best relics in my opinion to start with. I strongly recommend the Wanderer's Pipe. It, in my opinion, is by far the best, as getting exploration experience is how you earn class enhancement points, which is what makes you stronger. The Exploration Journal one is also nice, as you'll be using a lot of objects. The Wooden Spatula is the least valuable of the good ones in my opinion. 5 extra provisions does allow you 1 extra boss fight or 5 extra steps or using an object, so it might be worth picking up if the other options aren't available. Now every action you do on the map takes provisions. You step, you take a provision. You fight a monster, you take provisions. You open a chest, you take provisions. So you want to be a little bit careful about what you do and don't engage with. Normal monsters are not worth fighting. Don't just avoid all of them, not worth it. Chests on floors 1 and 2, the rewards are terrible. Usually a few 100k gold and some leaves. Wait to open treasure chests until floor 3 and 4. Trust me, you will have plenty of currency to buy out the shop. Floors 1 and 2, your entire guild should be focused on making a beeline towards the bosses that unlock the priest so that you can advance to floor 2 and then advance to floor 3, where you can start racking up some good rewards, and make it your way to floor number 4, where you can make the best rewards and collect all of the guild rewards. Now this part's for the guild leaders and captains, the people who'll be organizing the fights. The basic rule of thumb is you want to organize your guild in such a way that you can converge on the priest and kill it as quickly and efficiently as possible, and collect the guild treasure chests on your way. This usually involves taking out wardens. Floor 1 typically doesn't have any wardens, you just make a beeline for the boss and take it out. Floor 2 usually has 2 to 3 wardens. Floors 3 and 4 typically have 4 wardens. The wardens must all be defeated to unlock the ability to access the priest. In a perfect world, you want to divide your guild up into teams. We did it with colors. We had the purple and gold team go to the left, and we had the green and the blue team go to the right. And after defeating the warden, we had the teams split up, where the green and purple teams went and assaulted the priest, while the blue and gold teams went and chased after guild treasure chests and other guild rewards. You don't need to have this level of organization, but the more organized you are, the cleaner the fight should be. What's most important is that everybody is on the same page when it comes to looting and direction and rushing the bosses for floors 1 and 2, so that you can get your loot on floors 3 and 4. In subsequent videos as we explore, I'll be posting maps that I create. Feel free to download those maps and use them for your own personal guild. Come up with your own teams and guide your guild members on the best possible paths that you come up with, so you can have the most efficient run. I can't give you advice on what teams to set up, because every guild's different, every activity level's different. You just need to build the most efficient team that you can come up with to clear the floor as quickly as possible and advance to the higher loot floors. You may want to consider making some of your active members who are on at reset be your scouts, so they can go in early and give you some intel on what lies ahead, so you can better organize your guildmates and teammates. I recommend that you encourage your guild members, once again, to not open treasure chests and not waste their time with normal monsters, and not waste their time with statues on floors 1 and even 2. Save that stuff for floor 3, where you get a better return on investment for the stamina used, or I should say for the provisions used. That's about it. If you have any questions about Ancient Inheritance, please ask them in the comments section. I will do my best to answer them. Hopefully on Monday I'll have the first playthrough video and map available, and I hope this video makes you feel a little bit more confident about tackling this event. Have a good one.